Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?
Good morning, Lagos, Nigeria. Happy Ash Wednesday to my fellow Christians who are joyfully celebrating it today. A special welcome to Ways Breakfast, #What Are You Saying? It's still International Women's Week in our studio. So far this week, we've addressed women in leadership positions and its complexities. And yesterday, we addressed violence against women and girls. Today, we've brought to you another topic addressing women matters. Driving this conversation home to you this sweet morning is I, Okikiola Taiwo Jalupon. And of course, I'm sharing this unshakable table with my best girls, God's Beauty and CD Creative Director, Oluchi Precious Omenka.
Wow, you guys.
Zeno.
I have to report that I have not received this level of taunting in my entire life. And this people
You have
are
to
on
say
my
your
neck.
entire career.
No, life, like since I was born. This is just too much. I need help, you guys.
Are we taunting you? I was thinking
You are taunting me.
We're crediting you, babe.
You're not crediting me. You are taunting. I'm trying to open up all the abilities and capacity that I have.
As
and
a
you guys,
CD, right?
as a creative director, you guys, you know, I said I recently launched my capacity as a creative director, and I
Oh my
think if I
God.
can say so myself, I'm doing pretty well. So you guys
Yes.
watch out for me and do
Wonderfully
not listen
well.
to their taunts.
How are you? How was from yesterday to today launching into your new career
As a
path?
CD.
I felt alive. Like, I felt so alive.
Every
you know
CD feels alive.
it was just like, oh, you have these abilities in you. We need to unpack and uncover. And I'm ready for the world, guys. I'm ready to take over.
Your talent
As
is
a
pregnant.
Please,
God's Beauty,
move to
how are
the
you?
next person.
Oh, I'm good. I'm beautiful. How are you, Okiki?
I'm okay. Oh.
You can see that.
Glory be to the Lord. Oh. Anyways, yesterday, while I was going home, I was thinking about something, and it's the idea that this week we're talking about all women, right? And so far we have been trying to create topics that address the in-depth issues that are affecting women. One thing I've seen as an unpopular thing is the fact that sometimes co-women don't see these problems. It's like it's other people that sees it for us and then let us know, and then we now take that problem to heart without necessarily going deep into why these problems exist. Should they even exist at all? I was listening to the radio this morning, and Terry Taylor was saying that one of the issues that women have is the fact that they see everything as barriers. So the thing brought me to think that if we really look at it, these things exist, but I think our first step to actually eradicating this thing is for us to see that first it is not a barrier, then it becomes solvable. But if we keep saying that these are the issues, these are the issues, these are the issues, they will never there will never be solutions. So if there was going to be one thing you tell, like one word, just one word, this is me picking on your brains now. If there's going to be one word you tell a woman who is taking heed of all the things that we have said throughout the week up until today, what's that thing that you would tell her?
You know, taking a cue from what you just mentioned and how we're not supposed to focus a whole lot on barriers, I would tell any woman out there that the system might not be to your advantage if you look at things critically. but that's not a stopping stone or a barrier in that sense. It should actually be a hurdle for you to even do beyond and above. So, you know that thing we were watching yesterday on your phone where it says do it regardless. So people will talk, people will clamor, the system can have some warps here and there, but your default should be that this particular path or endeavor I'm trying to get into, I will do it and execute it well. So when you have that do it attitude, do it, consciousness, whether or not there is barrier in front of you, you're already thinking of solutions and how to surpass them. So I'll tell everyone there that regardless of how the system is, whether it's to your advantage or not, have a mindset that wants to do things and surpass.
Okay, God's beauty.
Mindset. That's the only thing, because once you have the right mindset to do something, you become intentional. Discipline comes in. Every other quality that you need to be in a certain position just comes in. So it's first of all changing the mindset. But this is how the society sees us, yeah? They see us as inferior. They see us as people that are not strong. They see us as backbenchers. That's where we are supposed to be. But first of all, you have to change your mindset from every other person, the way every other person sees you. The leaders that we have here today, the people that we'll talk about every time, trust me, there are people that see them as, bro, you know if you do this thing. Do you understand? There are people that have that mindset of you cannot do it. But you have to first of all tell yourself that you can do it, right? You can win. Brent Tracy, you can win. You can achieve whatever that you want to achieve. So once you have that shift of mindset, everything just falls into play. Like I said, intentionality comes in. That's when you're intentional about growth. Then discipline comes in for you to stay put, regardless of the trouble, regardless of the problem, you want to stick to it. So for me, it's just a mindset.
And mindset will happen when you consciously reflect. People should have times where, because you can think you have a mindset. I used to notice that I used to think in a certain way for some time. But sometimes I would just sit back and realize or try to think that, is this the same path you're still going through? So that means even with restructuring your mindset, always have times of reflection where you can correct some things, adjust, and it gets better at the end of the day.
Well, this is all this is about, and this is Wednesday, and we're talking about how we can redefine femininity and even your mindset, and how women can find self-worth beyond material possessions. Our phone lines are open to you. Please call us on 0702 500 7749 or 0701 424 2420, pardon me. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, please click that subscribe button right now. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now let us take a look at what's making the headlines today. Today we'll be highlighting the top stories from the New York Times, the Nigerian Tribune, and of course, Vanguard newspaper. Starting off with the Nigerian Tribune, I guess. Which one do you have?
I have the Vanguard with me, actually.
Okay, starting off with the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, I'll read the major headline that says, Rivers crisis, leaders INC talk tough. He also says alleged sexual harassment. CAN opposes calls for Akpabio's resignation. 16 burned to death as gas cylinder explodes in vehicle. Nigeria deepens trade investment with 5 countries, says Oduwole. Insecurity will subject Okite boxes to forensic analysis. Lagos Assembly, no plan to compel Obasa to resign, says Lagos APC. 2026 WCQ, Musa returns as Shell picks 39 players for Zimbabwe and Rwanda clash. And above the major headline, Ogoni, Mosop 31 groups demand justice for Saro Wiwa. Power generation hits 5,713 MW. National Assembly positioning Nigeria for $1 trillion economy by 2030. And the last story reads, oil price declined to $73.5 per barrel and threatens budget 2025 revenue target. And yeah, pardon me, I'd like to touch on this budget story that relates to, crude oil and the price. And let me read the story that I found. So it says the price of Nigeria's Bonny Light crude oil fell by 10.6% to $73.53 per barrel from $84.02 per barrel on January 15th, fueling fears over achievement of federal government's budget 2025 revenue target. All right, well, you could go check the full details, but my own understanding of this particular story right now is that we have got another issue on ground. We have been facing some challenges with meeting up with production targets. There was what I saw was we had set a target of 2.6 million barrels per day, and we're currently not producing up to that. And then the price has also dropped. So the people that are bearing the brunt of this would be the federal government because they generate most of their revenue from selling this crude. So it's almost like you're planning something with 500,000 naira and then what you have is now 450,000. So there's a whole lot of things that are happening in the oil market. And the point of all of this is that it is not to our benefit. And for the longest, it's been like that's the story so far. When it comes to the oil market, crude oil, even down to, petrol, refineries, the whole Dangote marketers issue, it has always not favored us in that sense. It seems like there's just this short-term victory that we have. Sometimes it looks like things are going well and then it crashes again. So I'm wondering, how can we get a sustainable solution to some of the problems that we face with the oil market? Because this strain now on the 2025 budget would, of course, you know how the whole budget thing works. It can be from just a sector, but it has a way of affecting other sectors and other things that we do. And oil, we haven't gotten our oil market well at all. So this whole budget back and forth, I'm really hoping that there will be some sort of sustainable solution, maybe to, at this point, start seeking international advice, international help, because probably we're not just getting it right on our own or by ourselves. And I don't know, just my own thought, because sometimes when I read the stories, tomorrow again we're going to hear something, it has dropped by some percent, and the brunt of it is on the government and, their whole revenue thing and how it's going to affect us at the end of the day. So I feel like if we can get and have something sustainable, at least a bit long term, even though we know that crisis will always still happen, but this back and forth every single day is no exciting news.
To be honest, I feel that Africans, Nigerians know what the problems are.
Simple.
The problem is lack of diversification of all the things that we
Our
have
resources
in Nigeria. Crude oil, we have been saying for many years, is not sustainable for any, because people are already looking for other ways not to even use crude to start with. So of course, prices will drop. Even the demand for it will drop. So how would a country take initiative? It's by looking at other ways that we can make money that will also help with our budget for the growth of the country. So we don't need any international anything to come and do anything for us. What we really need is for us to look inwards. We should stop any small thing. We're aiming for loan, we're aiming for help, we're aiming for aid. When are we going to start looking inwards to actually start solving our problems ourselves? Because it's almost like the idea of herbal medicine, where people will say that it's inside that is the antidote, it's inside that is the cure, it's inside that. So we have to be looking inwards to now start finding solutions to our problems. We have gold, only us gold, only us
our agriculture.
Or I had this to pronounce that thing. Or only us.
Okay, so yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
We have so much, and we are still stuck on crude oil today, crude oil tomorrow.
But there are other nations that even are using the crude oil that they have to help their own city and nation. So I don't know why we that have this crude oil, we have not gotten it right with crude. I know that we should diversify, but with the advantage that we have with crude as well, we cannot just put it aside. I think we should try to make it work, even as we try to diversify as well, because there are other countries. I mean, look at some of the Arab nations that don't even have as much of the resources that we have, are making great progress with it. So what did they get right there? So we diversify with agriculture, tourism, and all. But that crude, we should still get it right. Else, even when we diversify, we still have some of those problems that have not been dealt with.
But maybe they will reduce. But one thing I quickly wanted to applaud TCN for was with this power generation hits 5,713 megawatts. That's like the highest that we have ever had. And I think some people would have
it in simple terms to the people that are listening, people that are always having to
So
face.
usually there's an amount of megawatts that is always being produced and spread across different states and different constituencies, let me put it like that. I'm used to constituency terms. You people should pardon me. I mean communities.
For Excellency.
Yes, thank you. So most of the time, before it used to be around 3,000, 2,000, but 5,000 is like the highest that has ever happened. And I noticed from like yesterday to today, a lot of people were saying, we had light, we had light, we had light. Okay. So what it does is that it helps with spreading. The more megawatts the power generator produces, better light, better
across the board.
Yes, even better voltage. Sometimes you see that what it has produced, because it has to forcefully spread across certain constituencies, you now have either lower voltage, it will spoil your charger, it will spoil your this. Those are the kind of things that happen. So this is the highest that's ever happened. So I'm applauding.
I hope we can keep this up.
TCN does not know how it got to that point, to be honest.
So it's like a miracle that happened.
That is why it is making headlines that, hey,
finally the Lord has shined his face on us.
Finally, exactly. Well, that's all I wanted
story
to say on the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, quick move to the international space, the New York Times newspaper. By the top left, we have pushing Europe for pitching in to aid Ukraine. Top right, China's silence in trade, fuel conveyed plenty. Far right, 25% tariffs set to hit the Mexicans and the Canadians. Then middle section, we have drones define a deadlier phase of Ukraine's war. Lower left, Israel and Hamas on dual track, considering both peace and war. The lower right, alarm that Kennedy stands on missiles sound too feeble. All right, the outline I want to quickly talk on is the Israel and Hamas on dual track, considering both peace and war. So Israel and Hamas are engaged in simultaneous negotiations for a ceasefire, while also preparing for potential military escalation. I just like this. Talks are ongoing, but both sides remain cautious about the outcome. Now, the conflict has led to significant humanitarian and geopolitical consequences, with thousands of lives affected. Any agreement or escalation will shape the region's stability and impact international relations, which is something that we already know. First off, I think this is like a natural news, because now it's looking like there's an headway, right? For now, we already know that there's a ceasefire, happening between the Israelis and the Hamas, and for now there's still negotiations happening, but there's still preparation, with the military force, from each country. So the Israel saying that, okay, we are preparing the war just in case they decide not to agree with whatever we bring in. Same goes to the Hamas as well. And honestly, like I said, I think this is like a natural news, and this is given that good way, because the fact that there's already a ceasefire, which is something that is not really happening between the Ukraine and Russia, which we are praying for. And if you remember yesterday, we were talking about like the European leaders when they're coming out to say, you know what, we are going to do this ceasefire agreement on behalf of the Ukrainians if they don't want to. And honestly, the fact that these people don't need anybody, and thank God that Trump has actually rested with the whole Hamas dependency and all of that. So I think that part is already well done. So the fact that there's already this conversation around peace and all of that, like I said honestly, I think this is like a head start. Let's just keep up on this. Probably before the end of the year, we would say that okay, there's no war happening between the Israelis and the Hamas. And yeah, that's all I have for you on the
You have basically concluded the whole story about the Israelis and the Hamas on the peace and war treaty that they're having. But this morning, while I was also listening to the radio, I saw the whole 25% tariff set to hit the Mexicans and Canadians. And I was just thinking about when the Canadians replied that, oh, so you think that it's only that Sabido, we will also do our, it's almost like we will do our own back, like a personal...
Even down to China.
Yes, like a personal threat.
Took it to them as well.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was supposed to take place yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes, it started yesterday. And I'm looking at the kind of strain it's going to have on the people.
Yeah.
Because it's not just that they are now dependent on certain things that come from these countries. It's now that there's been like an integration of both the United States and Canadians. Just, if you don't go to US, you will go to Canada. If you don't go to Canada, you go to UK.
Yeah.
If you don't go to UK, something free scholarship will take you to China. You get, so it's almost like, I hope it doesn't hit Nigerians, because I will not say we will drain. We will not drain, but something will happen.
It will.
And it will not be nice.
It will not be nice, of course. I was like checking, because it's literally on the newspaper here, even with the China whole thing. And honestly speaking, I get the angle Trump is coming from with the whole, we want, you know, the citizens of the United States to buy things that are produced by the, you know, by the citizens of America. But you already know the kind of relationship that you have with China and how you guys, you know, do trade by barter a lot. So I feel like it's not everything that a country would have. Do you understand? So the few things that they don't have, you leave it for China. Which one is the imported goods from China? You are imposing tariff on it, 25%. It doesn't make any sense.
Really,
because
really
at the end of the day, the people that will suffer for it are the consumers, and those are the Americans, the same citizens.
Because it affected us, I think,
it doesn't
during
make any
Buhari's
sense now.
tenure, when he closed the borders for importation.
Yes.
And the rice went like from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know Nigeria now, nothing goes up that ever comes down. If it goes up, forward, those
Forward
African
ever,
parents,
backward never.
Forward ever, backward never situation. Anyways, let me quickly take us through the Daily Trust newspaper. And the headline reads, "Killing of Northern drivers in Southeast unacceptable," says ACF. It urges the federal government to tame attacks, demands compensations for victims. The DSS also invites Daily Trust reporters over story. It's sometimes funny when the newspaper reports themselves and puts themselves on the headline, because it's saying here now that the DSS has invited the newspaper reporters over the story that they have covered for these northern killings. Below that, we also have Tinubu reappoints Ogunjimi as AGF. Another story here reads, 20-year-old man allegedly beats mother to death. Another story here says, "We are not enemies. Sherakau speaks on relationship with Kwakwanso." We have one above the mast saying, EFCC arrests ex-Akwa Ibom governor Udom. By the left, we have police narrate how ex-immigration CG Paradang died. The last but not the least story here says, Boko Haram insurgents kill police inspector's sons in Yobe. And this is really sad news. I can't even pick one thing here that I can confidently say is one of the good news. Everything bad. From this 22 die in Ogun over auto crashes. It's a sad news. We are 20-year-old man allegedly beats mother to death.
That person needs to be arrested.
I don't want to
talk about jungle justice, but that person needs to be arrested.
Communities, to be honest, there's no respect, no care for life in very violent, low-income communities, to be honest. This Paradang thing, I want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but I must talk about it. You know, that kind of thing. So the stories that has been going around is that he had a visitor on Wednesday night, a female visitor on Wednesday night, where they were lodged in an hotel. And by the next morning, a dear friend of his was looking for him and was able to trace him to the hotel where he was lodged and found him seated on a chair, lifeless. So what they are doing now is looking for the female visitor.
Oh my God.
Secondly, they are wondering that what are the circumstances surrounding his death? How did the hotel not know that this person was gone, basically, or dead? But it still brings me to address the police, address immigration officers, about how we talk about security, but when it comes to hidden things that they want to do, like the female visitor that they cannot even openly call her name or identify, basically, is that they take security to the dungeon when it comes to these hidden things that they want to do. And there might be a lot of stories surrounding this so-called person that has come to visit, why the person came to even visit in the first place. Because when it comes to male and female matter, they will sharply say that something happened. They will either blame it on the lady that she poisoned him for whatever reason of that sort. I don't know if you remember this very old story of this lady that went to that she said she was in a relationship. I'm very bad with names, but I remember the story very well. She said that she met him. He said he liked that. They were going to get married. Then they had a few hotel visits. Yeah. After that, one hotel visit, she happened to have killed him because she felt that all the promises that he was making, he wasn't fulfilling them, and she decided to unalive him, that if you cannot do it, I shall kill you. And these are part of the things that we are going to be talking about, this morning. And it's more like exploring the topic that it's on the heart of many people, which is how, or what it means to be a woman in today's society, what it means to be a self-worth woman, what it means to know femininity or femininity, what it means to know that I am beyond material things, what it means to even demand for things from people. Well, these are all the things that we're going to be exploring this morning. And of course, we'll be taking your questions and comments live on our social media platform. So be sure to join the conversation. We'll be right back after this break to discuss this topic. Please stay tuned.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Welcome back to the show. Today we are redefining femininity. We're asking, can women find self-worth beyond material possessions? That's a very deep question. This morning, together we'll be exploring the impact of materialism on women's self-worth, alternative definitions of femininity, and practical strategies for promoting self-worth beyond material possessions. For centuries, traditional femininity has been defined by societal expectations and cultural norms. But what happens when these expectations are tied to material possessions and external validation? Does this definition of femininity still serve women today, or is it time for a redefinition? My ladies and I will be discussing these and giving our deep and honest opinions about it. So let's get right into this discussion. First is, just like we're going to be asking ourselves, can women find self-worth beyond materialistic possessions? My ladies, tell me.
Let's start with you.
You know, one thing with closed-ended questions like this, if I say yes or no, can we move to the next?
No, we can't.
No, we can't.
Well, can women find self-worth through... I think I want to first start with explaining what I think femininity is and how it has evolved over time. So maybe we can now start answering the question ourselves. It will not just be an us thing answering. So maybe with our definitions and uncovering, you can then answer the question. So historically, femininity for women, traditionally now just had to do with roles. A feminine woman was one who is seen as a nurturer. You're caring for your home. You are that, peacemaker. You're calm, you're demure, as they call it now. Things are just done in a very simple way. And it's basically as regards roles and how, especially when it relates to male counterparts and the society. So that's how traditionally and historically femininity has been defined. And for a while, we were okay with such definition as we didn't see any reason to move beyond that. But now there's modern day femininity, and we're having a lot of people coming out as feminists. And this modern day femininity is focused on independence for women, how that the roles have to be opened up and I don't have to be boxed in a certain role. And then as I started expanding, there was also the idea to put certain independence that was just beyond living roles. That's why we include financial independence now. Do you understand? So financial independence became a part of modern day femininity. So you can see how femininity has changed. I mean, if you speak to our mothers in those days, their self-worth would be that I have a family and my children are doing great. I have a family and my husband sees me as a virtuous woman. That was what it means to be a feminine woman, and they were worthy in that sense. But today, what does it mean to be a woman who is worthy, who has self-worth? Is because I have some sort of independence, many times financial, many times because I do not have to be boxed under the male counterpart where I'm totally, dependent on whatever they have to offer me. But then what does it really mean to have self-worth? What's self-worth? Self-worth just has to do with an appraisal of how you see yourself, right? And it can be intrinsic, it can be extrinsic. Anything can cause that self-worth. So for the older definition of femininity, their self-worth was more, I would say, it wasn't really extrinsic. It was more intrinsic, like having to see that their families, their children, their household functions was just done. They were okay with being simple. And sometimes today I'm like, maybe it wasn't really a bad thing. But I don't want you to see me, this girl is trying to be average and mediocre. You are against feminists. No, that's not the point. But it showed that they just had a different appraisal to life generally. So today, I think today, my own idea of femininity is to see how we can marry both together. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. Whilst I want us to challenge stereotypes and not necessarily box ourselves under a role that society and the male counterparts has shown, we shouldn't totally take away that thing that makes us feminine, women, caretakers. Do you understand? So now we're talking self-worth, so let's bring it home. What does self-worth really mean? Like I mentioned before, that self-worth just has to do with an appraisal of how you see yourself, the things that matters to you, your esteem of yourself, the things that you would look at to yourself and say, okay, I'm making progress with my life. Some people, their self-worth is on marriage. If I am not married, I am not fulfilled. I remember one time I knew of a person that it was becoming miserable to the end that, of course, marriage is a desirable thing, right? But the way she went ahead about it seemed quite miserable. I know that this is like, don't use such terms. You don't know what people are feeling. But it showed that, honestly, is that really all there is to life? So our own self-worth was, I want to be married, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, I want to be somebody's property.
Basically, it still relates to the traditional femininity.
Femininity.
Yes.
Right. So another form of self-worth is, I want to be that independent woman. I don't want to depend on any man for anything. I want to be able to afford the designer's bag, to go on vacation, to be able, some can even be career pick and ambition. Basically, I'm looking at all of these things and I'm thinking of how to answer the question. So the question is, I don't want to answer the question straight because anything that has to do with femininity gets people to really be calm. And I'm taking that calm route. I'm not about giving you one straight answer. I'm trying to open it up and see what does even this femininity mean? How has it evolved over time? And if I can answer the question for my own self, what would I say defines me as a person?
Right.
Let us ask God's written now. While I think of what defines
This
me.
is very, you just
She just went like,
God bless you.
and they landed in.
But
People.
But
I
this
cannot- okay,
is
please
it
go
here.
ahead.
This is it here. Now, the way the society has painted self-worth, right? They have painted it that you have to be materialistic. You have to have a certain kind of, things you are. That's the only reason why. I'm so sorry, but I would literally say this, right? That's the reason why a Sophia would be okay to sleep with a Bonner boy to get the Lamborghini, because there is that mindset of, oh, if you have this car, baby, you're on top, right? And that's why I feel like the only person that have addressed that particular story very well is Blessing CEO. I've said that before, because if you listen to what Blessing CEO said, she's saying the absolute truth. No, you already know the kind of road we are in. I'm not saying it's bad to get like a Lamborghini, but because of, the way you actually got it, the story behind it, it just shows that you're probably working towards a self-charge. So that now that you have this car, I mean, when you're having a conversation with someone, you say, no, you cannot pay me that. You see the car where they drive. Do you understand? That's the way the society have painted self-worth. And that is not how it's supposed to be. Self-worth is supposed to be who you are. What exactly is your impact to the society? Do you understand? But the society have made it that if you don't have a certain thing, if you're not driving a certain car, in short, even me, I'm part of that problem, because literally I will tell you, if you're literally with a Camry, I'm so sorry, you're not going anywhere.
Wow.
Exactly. So you
just set yourself up right now.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's something that I say that every
very
time.
honest and deep about this conversation, and you have shared your opinion about how somehow materialistic possessions help people
It's what
know
literally
what to charge you
exactly
or how to address you. And they feel like this babe na big babe because she's driving a Lamborghini. And even in her stories, there was one story where they still said that she flaunted a luxurious home, admits the whole Lamborghini buhaha, and she's trying to let people know that.
And her watch as well.
Exactly, and a $1 million watch. Let me close my goal. This is my goal. This is not gold. This is gold. She was showcasing her luxurious home, letting us know that you people are just shouting, "My Lamborghini is my Lamborghini," and she's building it by the seaside. Please invite me, Sophia. Thank you. So the video here is showing how she's showcasing the whole process of
and it's a really
her
beautiful
dream.
home.
It's a beautiful home, but look at now, you are admiring the materialistic possession
because
that she
it's
has.
beautiful.
From the look, but did you know how she got
it? Exactly.
Because now there's a story saying that.
Is senator paying for it?
Let's not openly.
I did not say
call
it is a
out
question.
our government officials.
It is you that is doing that one.
You just called senator now. Why can't you call another person?
Baby, how sure are you that it's a Nigerian senator I'm talking about? I just said the senator. Anybody can be a senator. We have senators all over the country, all over the world. I'm so sorry, baby.
So she's international. These are the issues that we have seen over and over again, that what you have materially is what has defined how people will see you.
But is that not what modern day feminists are pushing out for? When you talk about financial independence,
really generalize, because
when you talk about
financial, generalizing.
Okay, maybe. When you talk about financial independence, does it not still relate to some sort of material possession? Because there's a way we can look at this story and just dismiss the fact that women should not always be flashy or too materialistic. I want to ask, what exactly is the question we're trying to answer? Is it the value system that we're trying to correct, or owning material things? Because there are people that have owned material things, great material possession. They are materialistic in that sense, but the how, it cannot be so questioned, because you can know that there are certain things they are doing legitly.
That's why there is a question of, can women gain or have self-worth beyond this thing? So there's the statistics of people, or how would I put it? There's a group of people who we can say that they don't know that there has to be a value system behind your materialistic possessions, how you get these things. Most times, if you look online, it's a guy buying them this stuff. It's a guy sending money bouquet. It's a guy surprising you with a new home. It's a guy doing something. So can women actually see beyond that? I don't have to be so dependent. I can get these things on my own, legally, legitly. Is legitimately a word?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, legitimately without a man being involved. Without me thinking that I need to prove to society that I am doing this thing for myself. Because one of the things that she did is, showing that house is telling you that whether you people like it or not, with or without Burna Boy, I got the money for this. But already, people are already questioning the fact that for that audio to have been leaked, you are also getting this thing by so person. There's one person pressing the pin
by nooks and crooks.
And there are other people still siding her that, see, there's nothing wrong in if he wants your body, you have to take something in return. So you don't give your body for free. So she's also giving that, I gave him my body, but he has to pay for because he promised me. Yeah. So how can women see beyond that idea of, okay, let's say depending on a man, let's now rely on modern femininity. How can women see beyond depending on a man for materialistic possession? How can
they?
Oluchi, how can?
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know, honestly. I don't know how to answer this question. I'm just being I'm being open and honest. Because it has not honest boundary. It has different branches to it. And I'm like, which part and side do I want to take? Forgive my objectiveness. But self-worth, I think I will firstly take away the whole materialistic or whatever and just focus on impact, right? Like you mentioned, impact should be what drives what would be fulfillment or purpose for me. Some people, their fulfillment is that I can go on all kinds of vacation. I can, do a whole lot of things. I was reading one survey yesterday that was trying to answer the question for people who don't know how to discover themselves. And I liked how the question was, structured, because nothing there had to do with materialistic stuff. It was more about helping people, impact the society, something just beyond frivolities. And I think that if we start looking at things that way, our self-worth would have different definitions. So I believe that financial and materialistic things are great. And eventually, even when you go towards the route of impacting, there are some impacting routes and processes that can help your financial, stance or, that area. But basically, I would say that our value system and your quest for impact should be what should define your self-worth beyond materialistic possession. Yeah. If we can start changing that narrative in the society, which is going to be very hard, let's not even lie, because people will still do what people will gonna do. So if we're going to change that, I think impact, value system. Firstly, before you even talk about impact, it will have to start from the value system. What exactly do you hold priceless? Is it integrity? Is it honesty? Is it about, making a name for yourself, a good name, service to people? When you have that as your value system, you can now start looking at impact. But if your value system is about greed, selfishness, materialistic, whatever, you can't make impact. So I think my self-worth, I'm speaking for myself now, should be defined by my value system and impact towards the society at large.
Thank you.
Even when you say
I know that you already answered it. Cosbiti, I know that you want to say something, but we need to go on a quick break right now. And when we return, Cosbiti is going to tell us whether we'll know if she likes materialistic things or not. Please stay with us, people. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So, God's Beauty, please tell me what you think that women can do beyond materialistic possessions to gain self-worth.
I feel like she has actually said it all, because it starts from the mindset. The truth is, like I said, this is already how the society sees self-worth. Once you have money like this, you're on top of the law. I mean, it's something that's very obvious here in Nigeria. You do small things to somebody, you hear the person say, do you know me? Do you know who I am? Who are you, my brother? It's the money that is speaking. Do you understand? Actually. Exactly. So with that self-worth has literally just been connected to, finances, has been connected to materialism and all of that. So for us to start working as a person, as individuals now, we have to first of all start with our mindset. Like personally, in as much as, like I said, people that are driving Camry, hallelujah. But I mean, once you start working on that, right? Once you have that change of mindset that regardless of whatever you're with, you're comfortable in it. It doesn't, I mean, whatever you have should not, should not speak about who you are as a person. Your self-worth should be more about the impact you have on the society. Or what have you done so far? Okay, you're driving this car. What have you done? What impact have you made? It's not to jump up and down and say, do you know who I am? Do you understand? What exactly have you achieved? What exactly have you even helped people do with the money that you say you claim you have? Do you understand? So when we start working on that as individuals, when we start having the right mindset, changing our mentality towards things, just like when we talk about, people that act flashy and all of that, there are people that even when they have money, you will not know. Like the way they dress simple.
Psychologists say that the people that even have the real money,
you see, they're extremely quiet and all of that. They don't make noise. They don't, disturb about it. Now those people, it's just, I saw somebody yesterday. Obviously, I know that this person don't have a lot. I'm so sorry, you guys. But only him. You're saying Gucci, you're saying Cubana, you're saying this one, you're saying that. I said, my brother, calm down. Can you turn it a bit? You don't have the money in your account. You understand? So back on it's that mentality that we already have as a society. And once we start changing that, I feel like a lot of us will do better, honestly.
I'm sorry, I want to chip in something. So as I was talking about impact and doing something for the society, I think there's an hypocritical way people do it now. Not give away.
Okay.
So I don't want to speak down on NGOs or foundations or, trying to be an advocate, but somebody can listen to this, or people that have that materialistic nature in them, they're like, whatever you people are saying, I'm going to go for this gold. I'm going to be that gold digger. They can have such mindset and get this. It's not like having money is bad, but have this in the most extreme way. And then after having it, they will not seek to want to make impact. Do you understand?
Yes,
So that's almost like
now.
the impact was not from a good foundation to begin with. So that's not what I am trying to say. Maybe that's what you probably can pick from
what
it.
God's Beauty was saying, I also wanted to talk about the fact that we have spoken about impacting the society, which can be hypocritical, as you have mentioned. But what about finding self-worth in your skills? What about finding self-worth in your certifications? Finding because necessarily I can be maybe I can have 3 master's degree, 10 PhD, all of that stuff, but not necessarily want to involve myself in impacting to society or going ahead to teach or trying to share knowledge. Maybe I'm just cool. Just like saying that people who even can be calm-headed and do this. I could just be like that. I don't want to be out there kind of person. And I'm just improving myself. I don't need that spotlight. I don't need to tell people what I am, who I am. And at some point, it might even be the news that will even help me to carry on.
I have a little bit of like disagreement to such mindset, because I saw somewhere, maybe that's what made me think this way, that people who are great, they are not just great because I just want to be great for myself. There should be the notion to also want to pass this greatness on to people.
But
it might not be at a mass like societal impact and all. It can even just be from your family or your children or friends or someone. But if you're just great and you're acquiring all the masters, getting all the knowledge, to what end? Everything that you are getting should be to an end. So somebody that's why I'm looking at it like, okay, yes, you can have all the educational stuff and you are actually a great person, skillfully. But if you're not using that skill to help someone, I don't count that as great. But that's absolutely. But I feel like greatness should have some impact to others as well.
We're narrowing this down to what it means to, like, this is you. When they say you first, that's you first thing. That's what I'm talking about. That I can feel that maybe society is not for me. Maybe I hate society that has said that women has to be this. So therefore, I'm just going to keep to myself, do all of these things without the involvement. Be great for myself without the involvement of society telling me that because of all this, upon all this your PhD, no marriage.
Maybe you should go and do that your PhD in a cave. Not do it in a cave, because you would need. I'm not judging. It's the society that you would need to have all those things that you have mentioned. So you cannot isolate yourself from the society. We're not meant. Where people do doesn't mean that should be the ideal. There's the ideal. There is what should be.
So what
do you understand? I have said it already, that a great person seeks to make other people great as well. That's what I call true greatness. So if you're just amassing knowledge, amassing wealth, I read somewhere somebody said, I don't plan to be the richest person in the world. Do you understand? Like whatever resource I have, if it is just stacking up in my account, that means I'm not using that money for what it's meant for. It's supposed to be for some people. So a great person, I judge a great person by how much you have made other people great.
I
So
don't even
if
think
if it's myself, go to the cave and get your PhD.
I don't think it's even possible
She's
for
not
people
talking to you
be.
people, guys. Please, if you want to get your PhD without letting people know, please get it without letting people know, and don't bother impacting any.
But don't use people
society.
to get that PhD.
It's
I don't
people.
understand.
Which ones don't use people?
No, maybe you should maybe you can get it like yourself. Just read the notes and award yourself that PhD. Because if you put society there, you have to give back to
Honestly,
society.
she's really out for people who just want to keep to themselves.
Why
without
should you
doing
keep to
things.
yourself? No, make other people great as well.
Okay, so let me quickly ask this question. These are part of the questions we're going to ask while we round up. What's the most expensive thing that you have? God's beauty.
I laugh in Japanese.
No. I'm starting with you. What's the most expensive thing that you
I don't
have?
know.
Oh my God.
I don't think I've ever thought about that for real.
Now think about it. I'm kickstarting your
expensive
brain.
thing.
Think about it. 2 seconds.
Call it work.
What's the most expensive thing that you have? Think about it. Okay, what's the cheapest thing that you have?
Cheapest.
You cannot still think about it.
Cheapest.
What's the thing that you have in the middle that is not too pricey, not too cheap?
Hey!
You cannot answer anyone. These are the issues.
Oh my goodness.
So that last question is do I say it's toxic?
It shows that your ways.
You
Should be questioned.
have not been buying anything for yourself. God's beauty.
She's always gifted. I had a
The
roommate
man
like that.
behind your smiles, is that what
No,
he's
that's-
doing?
I had a roommate like that in
me.
100 level. Every time she's with different things, she'll be like, "Oh, please, can you borrow me?" Say, "Ah, no, it's a gift." I'm like, "You're always gifting you things. You are never buying one yourself."
Okay, so God's beauty, you're still going to answer that question.
The Lord is
But
good.
Oluchi, what's the most expensive thing that you have?
Your
What's the
friend?
most expensive thing that I have? Family.
Please, what's the most
It's not
expensive
material
materialistic
things,
thing that you
Uh-huh.
have?
Now you have made it.
Oh, Gareth,
you have
Isabella,
brought
you
it.
don't
You
know
have
what
given
you
me
are
time
doing.
to think.
Answer us. Quickly.
The most expensive material thing that I have. Well,
Your friend?
which phone? This phone. No, I want to change it. This question is quite hard because I'm trying to look at all the things I
All the
have.
things I have, like,
But it will actually be a gift. I've not gotten any expensive thing for myself per se. So yes, I have this expensive shoe that somebody gifted me. A sneakers, to be precise.
oh, okay.
So who bought it for you, male or female?
I'd like to keep that anonymous, but it's a female. It's a female that got it for me.
So
That's
it's
one.
a name
Yeah.
that's anonymous.
But it's
An
anonymous.
anonymous name. Well, I have something that is one
Why
of the
won't
most
you have?
expensive. What is it now? Leave me.
Let me
Money
not
spent
expose
And I
you.
bought it myself. But I also
Will you like
have
to tell us
another
why?
gift that was bought for me by the opposite gender.
Amen.
And I know there's something that they say, spending your money is sweet. Spending
Spending
another
someone else's money
person's
is
money is sweeter. I
Nice.
recommend spending someone else's money. And I can agree. But I think that's how we'll wrap up today. That find self-worth. That way, you can know that whatever it is that you do to yourself, whatever any other person does for you, it's just to, highlight that you already know what you want. That's what even helps people to get you what you want. Because if they already know what you want, then it's easy for them to just gift it to you, find a way to help you in courses. It's not necessarily materialistic. They can help you with courses, with, education, vacations,
Vacations.
That
You just
vacation
know how to
sounds so
put
nice.
that kind of thing. But yes, that's how we wrap up today's show. I hope you listened and learned something from all of the things that we have said. My co-anchors, thank you always for your
Thank you so much,
service
Efike.
and time to the nation and to women at large.
Impact.
And yes, the impact, the societal impact.
Yes,
that you
a
have.
great man makes others great. Don't be great for
Thank you, guys.
yourself.
Please join us tomorrow as we discuss another woman matter. I will see you tomorrow, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.
Another time.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?